Simon, what did you make of the review? Now you've gone through it all, how do you look back on it?
It was pretty hard to watch, to be honest. I thought there was a lot of self-inflicted wounds that were performed during the course of the game, myself included. I thought our repeated turnovers were poor, repeated non-box outs were poor. If we just tied out, and my job's to make sure that those don't happen and to stop it in its tracks, and I think I failed there. But I feel like they're two very fixable areas, and despite the fact that we were so poor in those areas, with 90 seconds to go, we're still a chance. So we just need market improvement in those areas and put ourselves in a good position.
The turnovers also is a big thing, and as you said, easily fixable. If you don't have those, you probably win the game. What do you focus on from a training perspective to get everyone's heads back in a position where they're feeling a bit calmer and aren't flinging the ball around a bit as much?
Yeah, really good question. Firstly, we sat down, we watched the video together, and we watched that 4-minute stretch in the third period, because I don't want to punish the guys or anything like that, but I certainly wanted them to see it and have their own perspective on how we can stop it, what we should do better, what choices we should make in those scenarios. And then obviously in the practice court, it's, implementing those choices. Keeping things a little simpler for us is, at this stage of the year, is important. And I thought we may have maybe just veered off in that direction.
How much do you look at the second quarter when you really dominated them for a long period of it? Do you look at we did this really, really well and that got us in front, or do you look at how they got back? What's the bigger focus for you now that the game's done?
Oh, look, if all we do is go in with the negatives, then we're going to have a really poor picture of how we played. There were some good moments, and I thought, especially with Gibbo, when he came into the game, we started to get a little flow into our offense, and we ran some repeated plays that worked for us, and so we focused in on those. What did work for us? What looked good? And then we make obviously some improvements or some preparations into what wasn't working for us as well. But I think, if all I do is be negative and show them what we did poorly, then, that might appease myself. But I think that doesn't make us better as a team.
You mentioned the Bryce foul situation after the game. And don't think I'm going to ask you anything about the refs here. I'm more interested in your tactics around him. But in your past 3 games against the Wildcats, he's been fouled an average of 9 times per game and 10 free throws per game, which is double his career tally against all the other teams combined. What do you have to do, other than just saying we can't foul him? What do you need to do to change that statistic?
Yeah, it's a good question. And the thing about guarding Bryce is that, yes, there's someone with him as your direct opponent, but it's got to be a team effort. And we've got to talk that player through every situation as a group. Gibbo loves talking about, you've got to talk the ball, which is something that we need to do also. But I feel like when Bryce doesn't have the ball, you still need to be talking his defender through every situation. I feel like we just got to be a little bit more solid, make sure our hands aren't in. We know that, he's going to get those calls. He gets favourable calls. There's no doubt about it. And he's looked after in Perth. We have to make sure that we're above that. We have to continue to keep our hands out, because just the slightest error is going to come back to reward. So we just got to be better.
Is that easier said than done, Adam? Is it like when the game is going, stopping him and knowing he's getting the calls and that he's smart and he looks for the avenue that's going to get him the calls a lot of times as well? How hard is it just to stop that momentum that he gets as he gets into positions where you guys are fouling and everyone gets frustrated?
Yeah, obviously it's tough. It's anytime you come to Perth, it's the same kind of situation when it's Bryce or their teams in the past. But like Simon said, we just have to be smarter. I think it's a whole team effort. I think at times we fall asleep off the ball. If we're not guarding someone that's really looking to score, like those guys have to be more active and be more involved in the play. I think that'll help us a lot. Like Simon said, it's not just a guy guarding Bryce. Like we can, Kiefer and Kyle, whatever, did a pretty good job chasing it and putting him into positions. But I think it's us off the ball, the guys off the ball that can impact and make more of a difference and discourage him from wanting to drive in there. Maybe we have to foul him hard a few times and put him on his ass. And I don't know, but I think it's more our other guys. If we got a non-shooter, you sit in and help, and that activity I think is what you can't guard Bryce with one person.
How's the group feeling, Adam? You could be 3-zip. Like, you've played well enough to be 3-zip, but you just don't have the results at the moment. As a leader, what do you say to everyone in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, Simon said that a bunch of times, and we all believe that as well. It's early days. We've got probably half a new team from last year, so and we haven't been able to play too many actual games. We played New Zealand a few times in pre-season, so I think this stuff's going to happen. But it's how you counteract the next games. Obviously Adelaide, we should have won that first game in double OT. We missed free throws, we missed shots. We win the next game. It's just about making adjustments, and that's going to be the whole season. So. We're still confident. Obviously, we've been together for a long time and on the road, so we can't wait to get back to Melbourne. But for us, just work on the stuff that we were poor at. You watch a video and we're kicking balls off our feet. Some of our turnovers were just, under 15 type stuff. So you take 5 turnovers away, that's 10 points they don't get, and it's a different ball game. So Bryce can still get his numbers, but if we, take care of the ball turnover-wise and just box it out, I think we. The standard Perth plays, they go on offensive rebound. If we take that away or limit that a little bit, it goes a long way. So those 2 areas will be focuses for Friday.
You mentioned you're close to getting home. How do you get home? Do you get a direct flight? I can't see too many direct flights floating around. Are you going via Hobart or Sydney or Brisbane or something stupid?
Who knows? We're probably driving back home, but sometime Saturday, I guess we'll get told when we fly back, but it's a tough schedule. We fly back straight and we'll drive to Bendigo to play.
I think we got a 4-hour layover in Adelaide.
So you leave Saturday morning, go to Adelaide, sit there for a while.
Sorry, Craig, I missed that. I talked David. My bad.
Yeah, so you'll fly to Adelaide on Saturday morning and sit there for half a day.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
It is what it is, mate. This is COVID, so it's not ideal, but New Zealand have been away the whole time from their home and whatever, and just how it is. So we're away for a month, but we want to try and win this game Friday. Hopefully we get that done, and then we'll travel and go straight to Bendigo and play Melbourne, who are rolling as well. So it's all part of the game.
It's one of those things, Craig, where we've talked about it previously, and we'll continue to talk about it. But every team's going to be confronting situations like we confront. On our trip back from Perth, it's not ideal, and we can either sit and bitch and moan about things not being ideal, or we get on with the job. And our job is to plough through any obstacles put in front of us. The moment we sit back and start bitching about our lot in life, which isn't too bad, by the way, but the moment we sit back and start feeling sorry for ourselves, you pretty much just put yourself an L in the column. So we have to make sure that we're mentally strong and push through any of the obstacles and not worry about those scenarios.
No, brilliant. Thank you very much. That's all for me. Have you got anyone else there?
Yeah, cheers, Craig. I'll just fire a couple. Right. Gibbo, just firstly, you've brought up the old school Gibbo the first couple of rounds of the year, balling out. What's the secret behind your success early?
No, it's not old school, mate. It's always there, just feeling a little bit better this season, and feeling good, and just opportunities are there. So you obviously put in the work over the years, and it's like riding a bike. So just for me, the biggest thing is this body's feeling pretty good, and I'm able to run and move a bit freer. So, like I said, the opportunities are popping up, and just taking them right now. So, yeah.
How'd you feel when you saw the graphic that popped up that you played the most games as an active NBL player?
Well, I knew I'd played a lot. I didn't see it. I got obviously tagged in some whatever, but obviously a lot of games. Kizza was talking to me today about it, but trying to break the record, so I'm trying to get a 5-year deal. That might give me a chance to get close. So been on wants to sign me for 5 years, but obviously it's cool to play for that long, and I don't really think about it too much, obviously, but it's good to be up there.
And just on the throwdown on Sunday now, have the boys spoken much about the games last season, especially the first one? No,
not at all. Obviously, all we care about is Perth. So. That's Melbourne hasn't even been talked about one little bit. So it's all Perth, trying to get the win Friday, fix what we were pretty shitty at on Sunday, Melbourne will come Saturday at some point when we're traveling. We wait around. So
nice to stop over in Adelaide. We'll start tuning.
We'll probably be sent to some training court in Adelaide on Saturday and go get a session in. So.
Just on just so we can get a grab or two on Melbourne, Simon. Given we're combining the presses here. Is it more the star power in Landau and Hobson that you think teams will be worried about, or the depth and talent that we've shown guys like Shaylee and Jack White being balling out recently?
Look, you start just looking at their higher profile names, then you're going to let guys like Uday Baba and Shaylee, who I think been one of their most impressive players over the last season a bit. So, yeah, you can't let those guys come in and beat you. You've got to make sure that you're prepared for everyone on that roster. Even Sam McDaniel, who's just back from injury, you see he's on the court for a minute and then all of a sudden he's drilling a jump shot. So, those possessions, if you don't respect the opponent 1 through 10 and those things happen, that can be the difference between winning and losing. So I feel like, yes, obviously you need to put your time into Landale and you need to put your time into Chris. And they're going to take a lot of your time in your preparation, but you've got to make sure that we're covering for everybody.
And just lastly, you obviously had a lot of involvement in Victorian hoops over your career. How keen are you to go out to Bendigo, bring some NBL, come back to Wanturna South, bring some NBL over the next few weeks?
Oh, look, it's going to be great. I mean, just for us to get home, we haven't been in Victoria this year. Well, that's not true. We were there for a couple of hours on the 1st of January. But we haven't been back since the 1st of January, and to be back home and sleep in our beds is going to be something that we'll enjoy. But obviously the chance to play in front of our fans and the people of Victoria is something that we've missed. Even in our pre-season games, you always look forward to playing in front of you go out to the local stadiums and you get a bit of the grassroots feel about it. And we missed that this year with the closed doors sessions that we had to have. So can't wait to get back in front of the people of Victoria and Melbourne and southeast of Melbourne specifically and play some good hoops for them.